Hello, my friends. How are you doing today? Really, how are you? Welcome to episode 25 of Is It Expired? Having a rough day with the lipstick. It just wants to be one with my teeth. Just together forever. This is my disclaimer. Please don't use expired makeup. I know what the potential consequences can be, and I'm taking that risk for myself. I don't recommend others do the same. I can feel something on my lip, and I feel like it's, when lip glosses kind of do the tack thing and you get the strings of gloss. I feel like it's doing that, but it's not, and it's a weird sensation. But the reason I do this project is because I have been collecting makeup for 12, 13 years. It's been a hot minute. And some of that stuff is still in my collection. Yeah, I have hoarder mentality when it comes to makeup. Only makeup products. It's the weirdest thing. But I also don't necessarily fully believe in the expiry dates that manufacturers are giving us for these products. So I just like to use a random number generator, pick 5 items, and give them a shot for a week. Obviously, I check for certain things. Has the smell changed? Has the texture changed? The consistency? And then, of course, if I do end up putting it on my face, has the performance changed? Am I breaking out? Is it giving me a rash? That kind of thing. If that's the case, of course it's expired and it is going out of my collection. It's being decluttered. But if not, I'm just going to keep using it, because if it's not changed physically and my face is still fine, I don't want to throw things away. I'm not that person. I just like to keep on keeping on. So, let's see what I picked last week. I do have quite a few looks from last week, and then we'll move right on over to this week. I figured out what was going on. It was just accumulating in the corner of my lip, and it was not a great feeling. So, last week. Let's start. I don't know what was aiming to come out of my mouth, but it wasn't that word. Start with the Shop Miss A AOA Studio Wonder Eyeliner. That's my hair. This is just a black liquid liner, something that I would generally use most days anyway. So this is only maybe a year old. It's going right back in, and it's going to be something that I guarantee is done and used in the next couple of months anyway. Next, I have the Essence Time for a Toffee Break lipstick. I'm not 100% sure where this even came from, but I do believe it's 4 or 5 years old. Just a nice neutral brown. Still works beautifully, creamy, wore it all week. No issues, so it is going right back in my collection. Next, I have the Viseart. On the front it does say blush and bronzer palette, but this is definitely a duo blush. This is Choiza. It's just a light orange and a dark orange. I honestly purchased these thinking they were going to be a lot brighter, but they're okay. They are great for a more natural look. It's just that's not necessarily what I was going for when I picked this up. But it's pretty. They're both matte, and they're very, very skin-like, very lifelike. So if you want something more natural, these are beautiful. This is only 5 months old. I just got these. Speaking of only 5 months old, I'm pretty sure I got these in the same haul. So this is Glowish by Huda Beauty. This is just the Luminous Pressed Powder in 03 Light. It's a powder. I mean, I go through these anyway. It's going to get used. So it's not old. It's going back in, and it's eventually going to get used up anyway. Last. This is the 27 palette by Melt Cosmetics. Yeah, it's just mauves. I did try to play with these glitters a little bit, and I used a dry brush, I used a wet brush, I used a brush with setting spray, and I used my fingers, and I cannot get these glitters to work in a way that I like. So, thank goodness there's only 2, because the rest are mattes, and I can play with those. I do have quite a few looks here. I tried to get looks that were a little bit different, but I'll be honest, I was getting very, very bored with this palette. I obviously did bring in other palettes to accompany it, as well as some single shadows and liners and whatever else, but I just, these colors, when you put them together, like, you just get the same look over and over again. So, meh. It's going back into my collection. It's, what are you, maybe 2 years old? Maybe 2 years old. And it's okay. I just think this should be the accompaniment palette other than, like, the feature palette. That's how I feel about this. If you are using this as a feature, it just very much comes out the same. If you're using it as a secondary just for... the other weird thing, speaking of, there are no light shades, really. Like, this is the lightest, and it's still, like, very much a transition shade. So it just all kind of blurred together for me. And, yeah, I like them as transition shades, or to darken the crease, or, you know, just smoke out things. But again, I think this is more of an accompaniment palette than a feature palette, in my opinion. And that was week 24. So, let's move right on over to week 25. Alright, week 25. Very exciting. Halfway to 50. Next week is half a year. Okay, let's get started here. First off, I have the Chic Good Grip Hydrating Primer. This also is only like 3 months old. I got this at the end of last year. This was in my Chic haul. It's a dupe of the e.l.f. primer. It does have that tackiness to it. I don't really know. I've only used it a couple of times, so I don't know if I notice a huge difference with it, but I do like it. I do feel like my foundation goes on really nicely over top of it. It diffuses my pores or anything that's going on here. But I do like this. I would just like to keep testing it, which is what this week is about. So, moving on. This is my Stila lip glaze in the shade Cranberry. I think I have 12 of these. I want to say maybe even 14. I think they came in packs of 7, and they were for holiday, and I got them twice in a row, so I ended up with 14. And 14 of these is a lot. They are all, like, at this point, so there's barely any product left, and a lot of them are so close to being finished that I want to focus on these a little bit more this year. And perhaps even get some out of my collection. But right now, they're fine. They still smell exactly the same way as they always have. I don't love that the applicator is like a brush tip, so it just kind of gets goopy. You kind of have to clean it off before you put new on, and that kind of thing. But I mean, lip gloss, you're generally going to have a doe foot, or there's always something, you know, it's just throwing hair around. These are 8 or 9 years old, depending on what year these happen to be in. I couldn't tell you which came from which little holiday set. I really, really loved these 8 or 9 years ago, and I have nothing against them. I just notice I don't wear gloss a lot. It's generally due to the lion's mane we've got going on here, and it always ends up stuck in my lips, and it kind of just... It's a pet peeve of mine when it's all up in your lips. So, I'm going to try to use this more, and maybe put my hair up. I don't know. But whatever, it's going back in, and I think I can finish maybe 3 of these this year because there's really not a whole lot of product left. Ooh. I just love touching these. This is the Chic blush in Fab-U-Lous. Now, I did recently do my blush and bronzer inventory, and I totally screwed up the names of these. So the issue with these is the name is nowhere. It's not on the packaging. I do still have the boxes, which is the only reason I know what the names are, because it's not on here in any way. And that, again, just a pet peeve, because with the amount of blushes I have, I want to be able to tell you which one I'm using, and I completely mess these up in my inventory. This one is Fab-U-Lous. I think they named these a little bit strange because there's one called Tickled Pink. I don't know, you'd think that would be the bright pink. It's not. This is Fab-U-Lous. And it is fabulous. Like, I love the blushes. I just wish they had printed the names, like, even just in here, something. But it is what it is. This is, again, only 3 months old. I got it in the same haul as this one, so Not old, they're matte, they're stunning, they blend out beautifully, and they're just fun to touch. But my one qualm is the fact that the name is not on the packaging at all. Insane. This is my WhatsApp highlight from Benefit. Sorry, I was just looking at, like, if there's a lot left. I don't use this. This is probably 8 or 9 years old. Doesn't smell like anything. It's one of those things that I'm like, there's so little product in here that, what is that, maybe 15, 20 uses? There's not a lot. I just don't love this product. But because I know there's so little in here, I want to see, like, what kind of dent I can make this week. And then if that's encouraging, like, just use it. Just finish it. Be done with it. My lips are doing the same thing again. It's just gathering. Just this corner. Don't know why. But, yes, old as heck. 8 or 9. And it still worked fine. Like, I was still able to use it, blend it, whatever. But it's definitely something I want to get out of my collection, and I want to find out if I'm going to be able to use it enough to get it out, or if I should just be done with it. But I do think I can use this up. In zip. This is the Galaxy Chic palette. I always feel like I hide. Oh, this is the Galaxy Chic palette by BH Cosmetics. This is so fun. It's one of their baked palettes, and it is very, very old. This is probably 9 or 10 years old. I am not 100% sure, but it is still so beautiful. They are baked shadows, so they're not as pigmented as like a pressed pigment would be, right? But they're soft, but the color is still there. And I noticed that while I was doing my makeup today. I used Milky Way and, what are you? Moon. And that's most of my shadow here. I did kind of blend out a little bit with Cosmic, but I mostly just use those two shadows, and they give such just a soft look that, what is that, ballet core would be beautiful with some of these colors. So I do really, really like this, and I'm excited to use it for the week. And what I'm really excited about is just with this palette, I can definitely get a ton of different looks. There are so many different shades, tones, you know, quads that you can look at that would bring out totally different looks. And I love that in a palette. I'm not a super monotone, monochromatic kind of girl, so this gives me joy. And lots of it. So I'm excited to keep using that. It is very, very old, so it should get some love. And it has gotten a ton of love over the years. That is something that I do always go back to. And I'm like, hey, girl, come to me. So it is something I use a lot. It's just, with the baked, it's really, really hard to pan baked. And I'm sure anybody that's panned like Hourglass powders or any baked eyeshadow really will know. They're tough. They're tough. But then once you like get there, that's kind of the end of it. Like once you hit pan, the end is near. So I am looking forward to that. I'm definitely not going to hit pan on any of these, which is bonkers because like some of them are flattening out quite a bit. I've definitely spent a lot of time on like the yellows, oranges, and reds. It's kind of my jam. And some of them are flat. It's just, even if they're flat, they still have like this much product pressed in, and they take a while, but it's fine. I'm in no rush. This year is simply about using things I have. And I have a confession. I made a purchase. I did not make a makeup purchase, and that is where my no buy really is. It is on makeup products. I did a huge Bath & Body Works haul, which was replacements. I ran out of body wash, hand soap, and I'm almost out of candles pretty much all at the same time. So they were having a sale, and I just stocked up on a few things. But it is things that not only were replacements, but will be in and out of my collection very likely within the next 12 to 16 months. It's things I fly through. So I feel better about that because, first of all, I got most things on sale. I am a frugal bitch. But secondly, it's things that I will use up soon, shortly, you know. So I'm not too worried about it. If you do want to see that haul video, just let me know. There's a couple other things that I would throw in there. I've got 3 beauty PR packages, and I think I have 2 more on the way, and 1, 2, 3 Hot Topic PR packages. So I can kind of just wrap that all up together. I can do a little bit of a haul video if you want to see that. I am kind of excited about the beauty products that I did get, so yay. I have not added them to my inventory yet because they're literally sitting in boxes on my floor still. I wanted to look at doing a haul video before I've added them to my inventory, so they are missing from the inventory videos currently. They will obviously be put in once I move them into my collection, but floor is free space. It's like my get out of jail free card. It's just whatever's on the floor is fine. It's not part of the inventory yet. You don't belong. That's it for me. I've had way too much coffee today. Sorry about the caffeine high, but that's it. That's all. Have a wonderful day, evening, weekend, journey in your life. And I say that because all of our journeys are a little bit different, and we all have hard days. We all have great days, and that's just part of it. It's part of life. So just know that I always support the journey. And do what's best for you. And have a wonderful day.